You've identified as a Christian nationalist. There's a lot of talk about Christian nationalism now. Do you feel like that's something that they're going to be making a big part of this campaign?
Are you aware that the founding fathers were Christians and nationalists? I mean, I don't know why you think that's such a bad thing. Of course, I'm a proud Christian.
Tell us about Jewish space.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you off?
I love how she lures her into a false sense of security by offering reasonable questions to start with before going full Jewish space laser.
Trump is the clear front runner. He's the winner in our Republican primary, and it's time for Nikki Haley to drop out and support him.
Do you think President Trump, Mr. Trump, is closer to picking his VP, and should you be on that list?
So as Super Tuesday drew to a close, there were a few takeaways I wanted to highlight. Much like his previous performance in New Hampshire, Trump's support with moderate Republicans continues to trend downward.
These voters. So you look at the exits for GOP voters tonight who won't guarantee their vote for the nominee. North Carolina, 35%. Virginia, 36%, California, 33%. That has been consistent, that there's 30 to 50% of people who don't want Donald Trump, but identify as a Republican or are voting in that primary. How can Joe Biden and his team make the case, talk about some of the things, of course, you talk about on your show, Larry, about the economy, to up those optimism numbers, which are going in the right direction. And there's always a lag from results to how you feel about it. To talk about immigration, clearly he wants to. That bipartisan border deal is going to be a big deal at the State of the Union, and other non-traditional Democratic issues.
Discussing matters like, could it be his inability to admit loss in 2020?
They're looking for the people that rigged the election. Then you look at January 6th. It was a rigged election, but we won much bigger with millions and millions more votes in 2020.
Could it be his coddling of dictators or his insatiable quest to implement a nationwide abortion ban as reason for this shift?
Not only the man who is likely to be the Republican candidate for president, but this is the way he's running.
Well, here's how we'll balance it. Yeah. Why don't we fact check the hell out of him?
Or could it be that Republicans who align more so with Nikki Haley don't want to be associated with the ultra MAGA types like Marjorie Taylor Greene? Now, of course, the pick-me gentle lady from Georgia was circling around Trump HQ during Super Tuesday, just dying for anyone to ask her about her support and hoping that they may discuss the matter of a potential VP pick. But while waiting for ketchup-coated scraps, she was interviewed by a former BBC reporter, where she was asked everything from Trump's performance to Nikki Haley before the reporter veered into a much more entertaining line of questioning. But it was no less journalistic, because someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene should be pressed on her previous comments every single time anyone in the media discusses matters with her. She was asked point blank, why does she love conspiracy theories so much? And just watch what happens.
What about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you off?
I don't know about you, but my granny used to tell me that the truth is only harsh to a sore liar, and it seems that she struck a nerve here.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Will the gentlelady yield for a question?
No, I will not yield to one of your stupid questions that are always attacking me and attacking President Trump.
How about a mediocre question?
No, I don't want to. I do not want
an
your
excellent question.
No,
a smart question.
No, my time.
An intelligent question.
You have no smart or intelligent questions.
As I said before, these are the type of questions that should be posed to someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, because ever since she was sworn into office, she has used her position to mainstream the most absurd conspiracy theories that often circulate in the basements of the QAnon conspiracy theorists. And she's brought them into public office, used her position on panels and oversight hearings to try to make them seem legitimate.
It's time to be honest about the vaccine injured. And we need to stop allowing these COVID-19 vaccines to be given out to children.
Gentlelady's time has expired. I now recognize Mr. Garcia from California for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry you all had to go through that. That was a lot of conspiracy theories and wild accusations, which we know have been debunked by medical science. And we should be clear that vaccines work and save lives, and they have millions of lives in this country. Countless posts have spread misinformation, encouraged parents to refuse routine vaccinations for their children, which you just heard, by the way, and even compared our pandemic efforts responses to the Holocaust. I want to just actually read something which is in the public record. I'm not saying anything that's not in the public record. that a member of this committee actually said, the same person that is actually attacking vaccines, said that vaccinated employees get a vaccination logo, just like the Nazis forced Jewish people to wear a gold star. I want to read that again. Vaccinated employees get a vaccination logo, just like the Nazis forced Jewish people to wear a gold star. That is the level of insanity and attacks that we are having here as we actually debate the lives saved around vaccinations. Now, this same member has also held shadow public hearings promoting ideas that COVID is a bioweapon to target people of specific races and that vaccines, and I quote, cause turbo cancers. I want to read you this quote, and it's again in the public record at a hearing. Have the COVID vaccines resulted in an increase in cancers, and are turbo cancers real? Now, Mr. Chairman, this is, in my opinion, just insanity. We know that's not the case. Dr. Marks, can you clarify once again for the American people, do the COVID vaccines cause turbo cancers?
I'm a hematologist oncologist that's board certified. I don't know what a turbo cancer is. It was a term that was used first in a paper in mouse experiments describing an inflammatory response. We have not detected any increase in cancers with the COVID-19 vaccines.
This is everything that we've come to expect, and those who elected her in Georgia should not be surprised to see this is a woman who peddled conspiracies regarding 9/11, that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a body double. And the thing is, she embodies everything that is wrong with the modern day Republican Party.
So George, when I was teaching law school, I learned and taught certain constitutional principles. When Marjorie Taylor Greene was teaching CrossFit, she learned a whole different set of values.
When you gauge the response of Nikki Haley voters who have went on record to say that if it comes down to Donald Trump and Joe Biden, they will vote for Joe Biden, they across the board have identified the extremism that runs rife within the MAGA contingent.
It's between Nikki Haley, Donald Trump and Joe Biden again. You will vote for who?
I will vote for President Biden. I have 5 grandchildren, 4 of them are girls, and I'm very concerned about women's issues and democracy.
Great, thank you so much.
And Trump's got enough excess baggage to ground that plane that he has.
Can you say that the guy who's beating me and will beat me for the rest of the primary will lose the general election, and then the loser of the Republican primary, Nikki Haley, will win the general election? Because that's her argument, and I don't understand it. Do you?
So here's the case she's making. President Trump, I would go home tonight. I'd go to my victory party. I would celebrate. Yeah. I've made history yet again. But then I'd go home and I'd look under the hood. And when you look under the hood of our Fox News voter analysis data, you find that 32% of Republicans say we won't vote for Trump. I've got to unite the party. That's the argument Nikki Haley's making. And number 2, I would look. Nikki Haley won independents, according to Fox News voter analysis, 59-33. So I go home if I'm Trump. I celebrate. And then I say, I got to unite this party. I got to win independents. That's how I beat Biden.
And when you look at somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is welcomed with open arms, it's no wonder. It is clear that this ultra MAGA conspiratorial nature of the Republican Party is alienating its own party members.
Not voting through funding for Ukraine. Are you an appeaser for Putin?
I think that I really don't care what David Cameron has to say. I think that's rude name calling, and I don't appreciate that type of language. And David Cameron needs to worry about his own country, and frankly, he can kiss my ass.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.